Welcome. Let's review how to use this workbook. Watch each video first, then complete the worksheets. Take the quizzes and review the answer keys. Finally, use the bonus card and flowchart for everyday protection.
Open your workbook to Module 1. We the people of the United States. This is the majestic opening of the Constitution, establishing that power comes from the citizens, not a king or a government, in order to form a more perfect union. This means creating a stronger, unified nation than the weak Articles of Confederation. A more perfect union ensures our rights and freedoms. Welcome back. We continue with page 7 of the Preamble. It aims to establish justice and ensure domestic tranquility, and to provide for the common defense. These are the core goals of our Constitution. The Preamble is a living promise. Pause, reflect, and write one sentence. What we the people means to you personally? It begins with we the people establishing justice and securing liberty for ourselves and our posterity. Welcome. The 7 articles create the framework of our government. Power is divided among 3 branches: Congress, the President, and the courts. Let's review the 7 articles that establish our supreme law. The 7 articles create the framework of our government. Read the list with me and see how power is divided among the 3 branches. Article 1 establishes Congress, Article 2 the President, and Article 3 the courts. Article 4 covers relations between states, Article 5 how to amend, Article 6 declares the Constitution supreme law, Article 7 explains ratification. These articles ensure cooperation and the supremacy of federal law. The 7 articles create checks and balances so no single branch becomes too powerful. Now, the Bill of Rights. These first 10 amendments were added in 1791 to explicitly protect your individual freedoms against government power. Welcome to the Bill of Rights course. The first 10 amendments were added in 1791 to protect your individual freedoms against government power. Let's begin. First Amendment. Freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. This is your right to speak, worship, protest, and publish freely.
The Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms. This protects your ability to defend yourself and your family. It's a fundamental part of our Constitution, ensuring our freedoms.
The Third Amendment prohibits quartering soldiers in homes. The Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. It's your strongest shield in police encounters. Key theme, your home, your privacy. Stay tuned for Amendment 5. The Fifth Amendment gives you the right to remain silent. It protects against self-incrimination and ensures due process. This is your Miranda right. The Sixth Amendment guarantees a speedy trial, an impartial jury, and the right to a lawyer. The Seventh Amendment protects the right to a jury trial in civil cases. The Eighth Amendment bans cruel and unusual punishment. The Ninth and Tenth Amendments reserve rights to the people and powers to the states. These amendments protect our liberties and define our heritage. The Bill of Rights is your personal shield. Pause and write which amendment feels most important to you right now. Know it, understand it, defend it. Final note, almost every right you will practice in Module 2, traffic stops, searches, silence. These rights protect you in everyday situations. Know them, understand them, defend them. Welcome to Module 2, Police Encounters Masterclass. Here, constitutional theory becomes street-level power. The Fourth and Fifth Amendments are your precise shields. Master them now and never be powerless again. In high-stakes encounters, knowledge alone is not enough. You must internalize exact verbal scripts rooted in Supreme Court doctrine. Today, we turn abstract rights into automatic, life-changing responses. Let's begin. Traffic stops are Terry detentions, not arrests. You retain full Fourth Amendment protections. Hand over only license, registration, and insurance. Beyond that, officers often fish for probable cause with casual questions. Invoke immediately. I am invoking my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. This stops the conversation cold and preserves your liberty. During a traffic stop, you possess the absolute right to refuse any search. Clearly state, I do not consent to any search of my vehicle, person, or belongings. Officers must then establish legal justification or back off. Your rights during a traffic stop. Ask the magic question, am I free to leave? If the answer is yes, calmly depart. This distinguishes a consensual encounter. Your rights during a traffic stop. Record the entire interaction when safe. In most jurisdictions, this is protected First Amendment activity. Documentation is your best defense should the encounter escalate.
Miranda rights apply during custodial interrogation. You must proactively invoke your right to silence. Say, I am invoking my right to remain silent and I want to speak to a lawyer.
Miranda rights are crucial. Silence alone doesn't protect you. You must clearly invoke your rights, like this. Practice this until it feels automatic. This ensures your rights are upheld. Miranda rights protect you, but you must invoke them clearly. Say, I am invoking my right to remain silent and I want to speak to a lawyer. You can also say, I am exercising my right to remain silent. Miranda is not a magic shield until you speak the words. Memorize and rehearse this. I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence and request counsel. This is your constitutional off switch. The Fourth Amendment prohibits unreasonable search. Consent must be voluntary and knowing. You hold absolute power to refuse. Silence is never consent. You may revoke consent at any moment.
Plain view doctrine is narrow. Items must be immediately apparent as contraband. Never expand the scope through conversation or consent. Your refusals.
When questioned, your default is invocation. Calmly declare, I do not wish to answer any questions without my attorney present. This halts interrogation under the Fifth Amendment. Nervousness is human and never probable cause. Keep hands visible, voice steady, and assert rights respectfully. Constitutional mastery paired with composure is your ultimate protection. Multiple questions are designed to elicit inconsistencies. One invocation covers them all. I invoke my right to remain silent and request counsel. Then stop talking. Period. These scripts are not rude, they are your sovereign right. Practice aloud daily. The more natural they feel, the more powerfully you protect your freedom in real encounters. Review these exact phrases every day. Constitutional knowledge without practice delivery leaves rights unprotected when it matters most. You now hold the complete masterclass toolkit. Congratulations, you have transformed from student to constitutional guardian. Revisit Module 2 anytime. These 10-second scripts can literally save your freedom, your record, and your future. Welcome to Module 2, Police Encounters Masterclass. Recent rulings reinforce that the totality of circumstances governs every stop. Unprovoked flight alone isn't enough, but it can contribute when contextualized. Masterclass. Terry v. Ohio, 1968, established reasonable suspicion. This is not probable cause. Know the distinction. This foundation is essential for law enforcement. Every street interaction is governed by Terry v. Ohio's reasonable suspicion doctrine. You are not required to submit to unfettered government power ever.
Terry stops and your rights. High crime area plus evasiveness not automatically equal reasonable suspicion per Terry doctrine. Courts require specific facts to protect every citizen.
Terry v. Ohio draws a bright line. Stop and frisk requires reasonable suspicion. Mere presence in a high crime area is insufficient. Demand articulable facts before cooperating. In 2026, the government reasonable suspicion must be particularized to you. Generalized officer safety claims fail constitutional scrutiny. Assert this limit calmly. Under Terry, a traffic stop is a seizure. Reasonable suspicion must be particularized. Practice now. I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Terry stops are temporary and limited. Once reasonable suspicion dissipates, the seizure must end. You are empowered to assert. Am I being detained or am I free to go? Pennsylvania v. Mims and Maryland v. Wilson extend Terry. Officers may lawfully order you out of your vehicle during a valid traffic stop for officer safety. Comply, but invoke rights immediately thereafter.
Precedent forbids using a frisk to search for evidence of crime. Reasonable suspicion of weapons is required, nothing less.
Practice the Terry distinction. Stop for investigation, frisk for officer safety only. This is your constitutional shield. Wish to state document the interaction.
The case of Barnes v. Felix 2025 clarifies Terry stops. The frisk is limited to a pat-down of outer clothing for weapons. If no weapons are suspected, the frisk is not justified. Terry frisks are separate from the stop. Officers need independent, reasonable belief you are armed and presently dangerous. In Barnes v. Felix, the court required a totality review for excessive force claims during Terry stops. This includes officer conduct leading up to the moment of threat. This precedent now favors greater accountability. In Minnesota v. Dickerson, the Supreme Court established the plain field doctrine. During a lawful frisk, if contraband is identified by plain touch, it may be seized, but the search cannot become a general exploratory search.
The plain view doctrine is narrow. The item must be immediately apparent as contraband. Never expand the scope through consent.
In 2026, the D.C. Circuit clarified in D.C. v. R.W. that unprovoked flight from police can support reasonable suspicion, but only when viewed in totally. Flight alone never creates automatic authority to seize. Other facts. Flight alone never creates automatic authority.
The Riley v. California case established that digital data on cell phones is protected. Police need a warrant to search your phone, even after a lawful arrest.
Riley's rationale is clear. Cell phones hold vast personal data far beyond physical containers. The 2026 precedent continues to treat smartphones as deserving heightened Fourth Amendment scrutiny.
Digital rights synthesis, Riley v. Carpenter. It protects location data and phone contents. Never voluntarily unlock your device. Invoke, I do not consent to any digital search.
Even after Riley, officers may ask for your phone. You should say, I do not consent. I demand a warrant. Cloud data receives even stronger protection.
The Fourth Amendment prohibits unreasonable searches. Consent must be voluntary and knowing. You hold absolute power to refuse. State clearly, I do not consent to any search.
Miranda rights apply during custodial interrogation. Routine traffic stops are typically non-custodial. Still, proactively invoke your right to silence. Use the exact invoke. Miranda warnings are prophylactic, not constitutional rights themselves. But the underlying Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination remains absolute. This means you cannot be forced to be a witness against yourself in a criminal case. Once properly invoked, questioning must cease. Any further statements obtained violate the Fifth Amendment.